welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to
top 25 places to visit in France.
What's up guys, my name is Ryan and I recently turned from traveling around France and I want to share with you my favorite places.
A lot of things to see in France.
Top 25.
But I want to see the boulangerie.
What's that?
After visiting France, it's easy to see why it's the most visited country in the world. It's home to endless history, enchanting towns, from the towering Alps to the chic French Riviera. France is waiting to be experienced. Let's start this video off at Étretat, located about a 3-hour drive from Paris. This was the first place I went to when I got to France. The main reason I wanted to come here was to witness the impressive sea cliffs. When we reached Étretat, we walked through the beautiful coastal town and arrived at the beach. It had this nice pebblestone sand, and you could get a view of the cliffs. I mean, they were freaking huge, a lot bigger than I expected. Now, after we decided to walk on top of the cliffs, we strolled along the beautiful boardwalk and made it to the top. My favorite features of the cliffs are the sea arches. There are 3 of them, and I also like the pointed sea stack called l'Aiguille. After a bit,
you know what that means? Okay, when you're sewing, it's like a, you know the needle? It's a needle. So you put it into the, it's called aiguille, it's the needle, and my mom will always tell me, can you put the thread into the hole?
Oh.
So
it's the hole?
Yeah, well, it's a needle.
That was the whole needle. Okay.
Started to roll in and gave the area such a different feel, and it was just so much fun being on top of those cliffs. If you can, I recommend staying until sunset. The sun will hit the cliffs perfectly, lighting them up with the orange glow. Afterwards, we're going to visit the island of Corsica. Located right above the island of Sardinia, Corsica is this massive island full of so many diverse landscapes. It's home to jagged mountains and some of France's best coastline. And one of my favorite spots on the island is Bonifacio. It's this medieval town built upon these limestone cliffs. It's nicknamed the Mediterranean Sentinel. Now it's located right in the most southern point of the island. Nearby there are some more incredible white cliffs with crystal clear waters. Another one of my favorite spots in Corsica is the Calanques de Piana. There are these sharp red cliffs that dive into the sea. They have such a distinct color, and there's a windy road that drives right through them. There's also some incredible
honestly, these views are not what I would think of France either. Like the cliffs and everything, I didn't realize France has that.
Area such as Blanc de Bussaguia. Afterwards, we're going to visit the French Alps. Now, this is easily one of my favorite regions in all of France. It's home to the incredibly massive Mont Blanc, which is the highest mountain in all the Alps at 4,807 meters. Mont Blanc doesn't have the most prominent peak compared to other mountains, but it's just hard to comprehend how huge this mountain is. Now, the town located at the base of Mont Blanc is Chamonix. It's a hub for some of Europe's best skiing and hikes. I really enjoyed walking around the town. It reminded me of a French Zermatt. Now, one thing you gotta do while you're there is take the gondola to l'Aiguille du Midi. Now, to get there, you can take a 20-minute cable car ride, which holds the world record for the highest vertical ascent by a cable car with an altitude gain of over 2,807 meters. It costs about 69 euros for a round-trip ticket to the top. Now, while I was there, it was extremely packed. I think there was like some holiday going on, so just plan accordingly. You'll take 2 lifts up, and it's just wild how steep it is. Now when you reach the top, you'll be at an elevation of 3,843 meters. You can definitely feel the shortness of oxygen in your lungs. When you get off the lift, you'll walk through this labyrinth of tunnels carved straight out of the granite. There's tons of walkways and platforms too.
So in France, he seems like he visited, because if you watch his Brazil video, it seemed like he only been to Rio. Here, he actually seems that he's been to these places.
Explore. You get an excellent view of Mont Blanc and the other mountains. And one thing I thought was crazy is that there's a place where the mountaineers exit to either go hike to Mont Blanc or just explore the glacier. But l'Aiguille du Midi was such an incredible experience and definitely the highlight of our time in the French Alps. Now when you get back to Chamonix, another thing you can do is take the train to Mont de Glace. You can get a Mont Blanc multi-pass for about 83 euros. This will both let you take the train and the lift to l'Aiguille du Midi. Now the train winds up the mountain and you get some great views along the way. Sit on the left-hand side, get the best views. Now when you reach the top, you'll be able to see the Mont de Glace. It's the 2nd largest glacier in all of Europe. I mean, what's sad is when you look at pictures of over
a lot of mountains in France. Wow, very mountainous terrain.
150 years ago and just see how much this glacier has shrank. Regardless, the whole area is breathtaking. You'll get views of the surrounding mountains. They're just like so jagged. I've never seen anything like them. There's also a restaurant and hotel up top. Afterwards, we're going to visit the nearby city of Annecy. Now, located at the foot of the...
How he pronounced it?
Top. Afterwards, we're going to visit the nearby city of Annecy. Now,
Annecy? I would not guess of that pronunciation from that.
You know what I realized after watching these tour guides? My version of a tour is different from other people's tour.
How is your tour? Food?
I like to see the food,
right, but
the sights, the museums,
okay, I understand.
art.
I
think
understand.
It's more like a culture.
I get what you're saying, but that's like how people watch the Greek food tour, like the street food. So we would have to like pick a video for like a French food tour or something like that. Right. This is not about food. There's gonna be no food in this video.
Located at the foot of the Alps, about an hour's drive from Chamonix, this Alpine town is famous for its canals. Hence, it's called the Venice of the Alps. Now, the city is just absolutely magical, but what I love about the region is the Lake Annecy. It's surrounded by scenic mountains, and it's known as one of the cleanest lakes in all of Europe, and I can't think of a better place to enjoy a hot summer day. One of the crowning features of the area is the Chateau de Menthon Saint Bernard.
Like
the first
to really appreciate these places, you need a boat.
Yeah. Some sort of like a ship or something. Right?
Fortress was built here around 1,000 years ago, and today it stands as one of the most impressive castles in all the Alps. We decided to explore it. It cost about 11 euros to enter. I was just astonished by the size of it and how well the castle was preserved. There was a massive courtyard with perfectly laid stones. The chateau's interior was just as impressive. It's just wild to think people lived in such...
But I think his channel is a little unique in the sense that he did travel here, so this his... he took these pictures or videos, whereas others we do, they're kind of just generic pictures from the internet.
Which is from Google.
Yeah, which is cool. I don't mind it because at least it's all put together in one spot. But this is like, what I'm saying is you get to see inside, and those others you probably, like most of the times you don't.
Luxury hundreds of years ago. I mean, I can't imagine what it must have been like to live there back then. After the Alps, we're going to head over to the Alsace region, now located in eastern France, bordering Germany and Switzerland. The Alsace region is famous for its fairy tale cities, wine country, and rich history. Over the centuries, the region has alternated between French and German control, and today it represents a mix of
This looks like a iconic picture. I feel like I've seen this picture before.
Cultures. The capital of Alsace is Strasbourg. It's home to the formal seat of the European Parliament. Another enchanting city
That's why I know it, because Strasbourg is familiar.
in the region is Colmar. If you want to escape the cities, you can experience the Alsace wine route. It's a 170-kilometer long route that passes through some of France's greatest wine country and picturesque towns. One of my favorites is the quaint village of Riviera. It's believed to be the village that inspired the town from Beauty and the Beast. Even if you don't drink wine like me, it's impossible to not fall in love with this region of France. After, we're going to France's capital of Paris. Major center of finance, diplomacy, fashion, and the arts. Paris is...
What, this devil with the horns?
Yeah.
Major center...
Statue?
No, it's called a gargoyle.
Oh, God. Yeah. Oh.
They protect the evil spirits.
I know the name now that you said, but I would have not come up with it.
Center of finance,
I've heard the name, though,
fashion, and the arts. Paris is one of the world's most visited cities, and with all its attractions and fascinating history, it's easy to see why. Paris's most recognizable attraction is the Eiffel Tower.
I feel like, honestly, you could probably do a video for Paris itself, like top 10 places to see in France. Yeah, I mean, in Paris.
It was built in 1889 for the World Fair. The Eiffel Tower is 324 meters high, which made it the tallest man-made structure in the world until 1930. Another popular attraction is the Louvre Museum. It's the world's largest art museum, and it's home to Da Vinci's Mona Lisa. You can also take a drive around the Arc de Triomphe or walk the grounds of the Palace of Versailles. And there's just
whatever he's showing in Paris, I've been to all of them.
I want to see it in this grand city.
But that's my point. It's like there's so many that you could do like a video just. And I'm sure there is videos just for Paris.
The Loire Valley.
But
now look.
To be fair to other countries and other cities, I'm sure there's in every city,
dive,
right?
Yeah.
You could go like deeper. It's just This is kind of just a very surface level.
In central France, about a 2-hour drive from Paris, this has to be the chateau capital of the realm. It's home to over 300 French castles. Now, if you're wondering why there are so many chateaux here, it's because of the combination of location.
Chateau just like a house?
I mean, it's an extravagant house.
You like houses?
Fertile grounds and the competition amongst kings and royals that brought so many castles here. One of the most famous chateaux is Chambord. It's the largest in the valley, and its estate is as big as Paris. It's rumored that Leonardo da Vinci helped design it. It took over 28 years to build and was finished in 1547. Now from above, you can see its perfectly square moat that was built.
It's not even a castle. I don't even know what you call it. It's ridiculous
architecture. Now, another one of my favorites is the Chateau de Chenonceau. Built in the early 16th century, what's wild about this chateau is it's built upon a river. I mean, I love all the arches. It's definitely one of the most beautiful buildings in all of France. After, we're going to head down to southern France to the French Riviera. Now, located on the southeast corner of France, I have to say that the French Riviera is home to some of the world's best coastline. One stunning city on the French Riviera is Mont. It's strikingly beautiful with its colorful buildings, complemented with a backdrop of the maritime Alps. We stayed several days here, and I really enjoyed just walking around the city. Menton was a part of Italy until 1860, when it and the rest of Nice County was added to France.
Look how it looks very congested, the buildings. Like one on top of each other.
There's a great boardwalk that walks along the coast, and I really enjoyed going out to the lighthouse pier to get panoramic views of Menton. Now afterwards, we're going to visit the medieval town of Ez. Now located on a hilltop tower looking over the French Riviera, I have to say this was easily the coolest medieval place I visited in my time in southern France. It was only a short 30-minute drive from Menton. Now Ez was founded during the Middle Ages around the 14th century, and today it is known worldwide for its medieval vibe and views of the French Riviera. When we were there, we parked in a parking lot at the base of Ez.
Here, you see how
the views of the French Riviera.
Yeah,
when we were there,
see how small the cars are in Europe. And
which car is this?
Fiat. Look like a bunch of Fiats.
We parked in a parking lot at the base of Ez and then walked up the winding stairs and cobblestone paths through the village. I mean, you really feel like you're walking back in time. Everything is so old, yet it's perfectly preserved, and the village is just full of like these tunnel walkways and trees that were just built around. Truly is such a cool place. Now,
I think watching these historic places, the most impressive thing is the preservation, how preserved they are.
Oh yes, I'm blown away because I'm super impressed with the construction of these buildings for them to still be stable.
Features of the village is the exotic garden. It's this beautiful place that sits on top of the village. It not only has beautiful plants and cactuses, but it offers one of the best views of the French Riviera. It's definitely worth the hike and €6 entry fee. Now afterwards, we're going to head over.
I wonder if the cacti are native or they just planted. Because that's interesting. I thought they're native to deserts.
In Nice. Now, as the capital of the Maritime Alps Department of France, Nice is the second largest city on the French Riviera after Marseille. Now, if you're flying to the French Riviera, this is probably the best airport to come to. I didn't really spend any much time here. I didn't really feel like walking around the city. I do regret not checking out, so if you're in the French Riviera, you definitely can give Nice a visit. Now, another prominent nearby resort town is Cannes. Now, it's located about 40 minutes drive from Nice. Like many places along the French Riviera, Cannes is associated with the rich and famous and hosts the annual Cannes Film Festival. Now, just outside...
I assume he hasn't been to all of these places, because ain't no way you can do that in one trip. That would take like 5 trips to basically visit everything he's mentioning. This is so much to see, wow.
Cannes is some of the most beautiful coastline on the French Riviera. It's called the Esterel, and it's these red rock cliffs that dive into the sea. Now, I was talking to a local on the beach, and he told me that this was his favorite place on the Riviera, so I had to go check it out. The coastline is part of the Esterel Massif, and it stretches from Cannes to Saint Raphael. Now, it's full of hidden coves, red rock islands, and secluded beaches. I love just driving along the coastline and parking in its many lookout points and just exploring the coast.
That's wild. You couldn't just okay, I'm just gonna park my car here and just enjoy the water. You have to actually park at a proper assigned spot and then go.
I mean, right. I don't know if it's like a national preserve or not. If it is like a national, you can't just park anywhere, you know. Now, if it's like a public land, I mean, I guess you could. It's just, I don't know if the spots are parkable. You know?
Now, one really cool place I visited in the area is Cap Mont. Now, the reason I wanted to go here is because there's this little island with a medieval-looking watchtower on it. It was constructed in the 20th century and is believed to be the inspiration behind the Black Island in the Adventures of Tintin. And it just looks so scenic, coupled with the red coastline. I mean, there's a really nice beach there, and the water is perfect for free diving. Such an enjoyable place. Now, afterwards, we're going to visit the town of Saint-Tropez. Now, this is one of my favorite towns I visited on the French Riviera. Saint-Tropez is located about an hour-and-a-half drive from Nice. Now, Saint-Tropez grew as a fishing village and military stronghold until the 20th century, and it was the first town to be liberated on the French Riviera during World War II. In the 1960s, Saint-Tropez started gaining popularity amongst jet-setters, and today it's renowned for its beaches, nightlife, and yachts. Now, the main part of Saint-Tropez is pretty small. I love just walking around its streets and alleyways. There was this path that walks along the coast, and it was just really nice to explore. All in all, Saint-Tropez is a really beautiful town, and I understand why it's so popular. Now, afterwards, we're going to visit Cassis. Now, I think this was my favorite place we visited in southern France. We stayed several days here. I'm just so glad we did. It's a seaside town with that classic French chic charm. Now, Cassis is overlooked by Cap Canaille, which is home to the highest sea cliffs in all of France.
You see, that's the thing, right? European seaside towns, it's okay. There's like no hurricanes, no nothing. Fine. But
and you
here,
get fresh fish,
seaside town, woof, you're gonna get washed.
Oh yeah.
It's with a height of 394 meters. Now, there's a great beach in Cassis, overlooked by a castle. I mean, I just love walking around the harbor, looking at all the boats. You can also walk to the lighthouse at the end of the harbor to just relax and enjoy the sounds of the sea. Now, one of the main reasons I wanted to go to Cassis and just southern France in general was to visit the Calanques.
Calanques.
What's up with the Calanques?
Now, they are these incredible sea coasts surrounded by dotty cliffs and crystal clear waters. The one I really wanted to go to is Calanques d'Amboux. Hope I said that right. Now, there's several ways to get here. You can either take a boat, kayak, or hike in. Now, on our first day there, we rented a little boat from the harbor in Cassis and headed out to the Calanques. Now, the views on the way were just absolutely incredible. Now,
I think, you know, it seems like this is not that type of video. I think what he does for a living is travel, basically. He has a lot of subscribers, right? Yeah, 700K. So I think he does like vlogs. So if you watch his vlogs, I think he would say, oh, how much it is. I think he would go more in depth. This is just like basically like a summary.
Of the boat, because we couldn't.
And then maybe he has like a separate videos for food. You gotta check it out too.
The beach, you can only drive like halfway through, then it's roped off. But if you do rent a kayak or a paddleboard, you can take it to the beach, which I definitely recommend if you can handle the long paddle. Now, we went in as far as we could in the Calanques and then turned around after we just kept exploring the coastline, heading west as we relaxed in this other Calanque with some just really unique cliffs and rock formations. It was such a phenomenal area. Now, the next day, I really wanted to go to the beach in the Calanques d'Amboux, so we decided to do a hike. Now, the hike was about 7 kilometers long, and it had this one steep descent to get to the beach. Nothing you can't handle. Now, once we reached the beach, I mean, it was really an amazing sight. The steep white cliffs, coupled with the greens of the pines and blues of the water, were just amazing. Now, the beach was a decent size with a lot of smooth pebbles. We went for a swim, and the water was just so freaking clear. I wanted to find a cliff jump spot, so after swimming down the cove, I found this rock about 7 meters high and did a few jumps off of it. I mean, there's truly no better feeling than cliff jumping into the Mediterranean. Definitely was one of my favorite places we went, and a perfect place to end our time in the Côte d'Azur. While we're still in southern France, we're going to visit the Verdon Gorge. Now, located about a 2 hours drive from Nice, the Verdon Gorge is one of the most impressive canyons in all of France. Now, one of my favorite places in the gorge is the view from Pont du Galetas. You get a view of the dramatic cliffs contrasted with the strikingly blue water. Now, while you're there, you can rent a boat or paddleboard and explore the gorge. You can also drive on top and get some more phenomenal views. After, let's head over to the medieval fortress of Carcassonne. Now, when I imagine medieval Europe, I don't think there's a better place that exemplifies it better than this fortified city. Located in southern France, Carcassonne began as a Roman fortified hilltop and was given to the Visigoths in the 5th century, who continued to fortify and build the city.
Wait, so the whole city's within the fort?
Oh, they safe.
They're
safe.
Oh, if Spain decides to attack.
Yeah.
An impregnable fortress as army after army failed to overtake and protect the city. Today, the city consists of 53 towers that are protected by its 2 outer walls. It remains as one of Europe's greatest medieval gems. Afterwards,
that's cool.
That is one of the greatest. I've never seen it.
It must be safe in that city. There.
Well, we are from tanks, but not the tank. The tanks would go through. I mean, from back in the day. But
to the Pyrenees Mountains. Now, straddling both France and Spain, the Pyrenees are a mountain range that separates the Iberian Peninsula from the rest of Europe. Now, one of the most impressive places in the Pyrenees is the Cercle du Gaverne. It's this dramatic glacial bowl with waterfalls descending its cliffs. Another cool place is Lac des Ayeux. It's a nice 2-hour hike to the lake and has incredible views of the mountains. After we're going to visit the region of Brittany. Now, located on the northwestern tip of France, Brittany is full of rugged beaches and countless lighthouses. One thing that is particularly fascinating about Brittany is its presence of megalithic monuments. There are thousands of stones scattered around the region, ranging from ancient tombs to single-standing stones that were arranged by Neolithic people over 7,000 years ago. Which is pretty interesting if you ask me. Now, aside from the ancient megaliths, Brittany is home to some stunning coastal towns. One of my favorites is Les Conques. It's an ideal maritime city with a picturesque...
Yeah, and no way he did this whole in one trip. He had to have come multiple times. This is so much to see.
Really?
I mean...
Maybe like 2 months?
I guess if you spend 2-3 months traveling, yeah, sure.
Harbor. One of the highlights of the area is the Kermovan Lighthouse, which is such a beautiful setting. Now, for our final destination, we're going to visit Mont Saint-Michel. I have to say, this was probably my favorite place I visited in France. This place was just truly magical. Now, to get there, it's a 4-hour drive from Paris. When we arrived, we checked into our Airbnb and made the long walk to Mont Saint-Michel. Now, you can't drive directly to the tidal island. Instead, you can park in the parking lots outside and either take a shuttle or walk about 4 kilometers. Now, I definitely recommend walking if you can. As you approach the island, it's quite the experience. And it just made me think of how the people must have felt throughout the ages as they came here. I mean, just truly something out of a fantasy film. Now, when you reach the island and walk through the gates, you feel like you're walking into a Harry Potter movie. It was as if I was walking down a Diagon Alley. Now, yeah, it's such a...
That does give Harry Potter.
Cool. I would like
Maybe that's what Harry Potter was based on.
Yeah,
good time walking through the winding alleyways and marveling at all the details. The Abbey...
I never heard about this place before. That's crazy. Wow.
Is the crowning feature of the island. Its construction began in the 10th century and was added onto...
Yeah, this one's definitely...
Due to its strategic position in dangerous changing tides, the Abbey and the rest of the island remained protected throughout history. Now, around sunset, the tide started to come in. I was amazed by how fast the water levels were rising. I mean, I understand now why it was so dangerous for the medieval pilgrims to walk to the island. Now, on our way back, we met up with some sheep in the fields. I mean, truly, it was a special experience and one of my favorite memories from my time in France. Now, the next day, we woke up to see Mont Saint-Michel for sunrise. On our way back, we ran into a herd of sheep storming through the streets on their way to eat some morning grass. I mean, definitely it was the perfect way to end our time at Mont Saint-Michel. Well, that is it for my friends' top 25. I'm barely scratching the surface, so be expecting a part 2 coming soon. Let me know what your favorite...
Yeah, the best was, I was not expecting that. Yeah, wow. I've never seen it. I don't know how I never even
It's like a secret, I think.
It looked like it, yeah. You pulled it out of nowhere, wow.
Guys, of course, let us know which place was your favorite to see. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord, and as always, share as much kindness as possible.